That plain bag on the grass there feeds 1,000 square feet of lawn for about $2, and the garden center won't stock it beside the crabgrass killer. The old groundskeepers ran crabgrass and clover out of a yard with that bag, a rake, and one bolt on the mower deck. So why won't the store sell it that way? Because those two weeds are the same problem showing up two ways, and I'll show you the reading each one gives you, the $2 fix, and the trap in the bag you are about to buy. Start with the crabgrass because what it's telling you isn't what you think. The men who kept the ball fields and the cemeteries green worked this out long before anybody bagged a preventer. Crabgrass doesn't show up in a yard because that yard got unlucky. It shows up where sunlight is landing on bare dirt, and it shows up worst along the hot edge of a sidewalk or a driveway where the ground bakes and the grass runs thin. I'm Garry Strickland. What I bring you is old-timer lawn knowledge, the plain and patient methods the old groundskeepers used to keep grass thick on nothing but a mower and a coffee can of seed, gathered from the accounts of how those lawns were actually kept and told the way a neighbor tells it over the fence. Simple, cheap, and nothing to sell you but the truth. The grass hasn't changed, the marketing has. So pull up a chair. Now, turf researchers writing for the Midwest Regional Turf Foundation went and tested the part everybody assumed they already knew. They expected crabgrass seed to need light before it would sprout. It doesn't. In the greenhouse, it came up in the dark just fine. What stopped it was what came after. Under a thick, tall stand of grass, that seedling pushes up into shade and never develops right. It can't root the way it needs to. It can't branch out, and it quits. So all that shade at the soil surface is working on the seedling rather than the seed, and it does its work in the first couple weeks of that plant's life, long before it ever gets big enough to bother you. And the numbers on that are not small. In that same work, taking the mowing height up to 4 inches almost completely wiped the crabgrass out, while the same ground cut at 2 inches came out of the season close to half crabgrass. Michigan State puts a figure on the same effect from its own research, up to a 95% reduction just from moving the mower from 1.5 inches up to 3 inches. That's one bolt on the deck of a rotary mower, and it beats a bag of preventers. Now the clover. Because the clover is reading a different gauge, white clover is a legume, same family as the beans in your garden, and it carries bacteria in little nodules along its roots that pull nitrogen straight out of the air. Michigan State says that flat out, and it's why clover takes over the roadsides and the low fertility ground. Clover feeds itself. That's the whole trick. And on hungry ground, it's enough to win outright, which is why the clover keeps spreading while the grass around it goes pale and thin. The whole time it's out there flowering, it's just moving into ground your grass already gave up on. Out on the plain farms, that isn't even a bad word. On a horse-powered farm in Lancaster County, clover goes into the rotation on purpose, because clover in a field this year means nitrogen in that ground next year, without a fertilizer truck ever coming up the lane. The old fellas knew things the bottle can't sell you, and that was one of them. Clover isn't a weed out there, it's a crop. Now, everything I'm walking you through today is written out plain in a book called The Old Ways, 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers, because this is exactly the kind of thing the old groundskeepers knew, and hardly a word of it ever got written down. It's 50 of the small, cheap, patient tricks they used over a lifetime of keeping grass thick, set down in order, before they were gone for good. 104 pages, in plain language, for a regular homeowner with a regular yard. And a multi-step lawn program from a lawn company averages close to $300 a year, and it comes back around every single year after that. This one you read once. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up. Give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So we've got 2 weeds and 2 gauges, and both gauges are pointing at the same 2 things: light landing on bare dirt and soil with nothing in it to eat, which brings us back around to that plain bag. What's in it is nitrogen and nothing else. The label reads 4600, and that first number is the one that matters. 46% of the weight in that bag is actual nitrogen, and the label will tell you to spread about 2 1/5 pounds of product per 1,000 square feet to put down 1 pound of actual nitrogen. 1 pound per 1,000 square feet is the dose. That's the whole recipe, and it's been the whole recipe since long before anybody printed a program on the back of a bag. Now hold on to this next part, because it explains just about every dollar you've spent out in that yard. That's the kind of math the catalog stopped doing for you, so let's do it. A 50-pound bag of that carries 23 pounds of actual nitrogen inside it. A 1/4 acre lot runs right around 11,000 square feet. Michigan State says a cool season lawn needs a bare minimum of 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet a year, split across 2 feedings. Run those numbers, and 1 single bag covers a 1/4 acre lawn, both feedings, for the whole year, with a little left in the corner of the sack. That's where the $2 comes from. Split that bag down to 1 feeding on 1,000 square feet, and you're looking at about $2 worth of fertilizer, and less than that if you buy it at a farm co-op instead of a big box store. Prices move, so go look at your own. But the ratio doesn't move, and the ratio is the part they'd rather you never worked out. So here's how the old fellas actually spent that $2. 3 steps, and you can do all 3 in a weekend. Step 1 is the mower, and it's free. Take the deck up to 3.5 or 4 inches and leave it there. Not for one cutting. For good. That single change is doing more against your crabgrass than any bottle on that shelf, because it's the shade at the soil surface that does the work. And it hits the clover from the other side too. Michigan State points out that when folks cut low to buy themselves a few extra days between mowings, they're cutting the grass and barely touching the clover, because clover grows flat along the ground where the blade never reaches. Cutting short punishes the one plant you're trying to keep. Follow the old 1/3 rule while you're at it. Never take off more than 1/3 of the blade in one pass, so if you're holding 4 inches, you mow when it hits 6. And keep this next bit in your back pocket, because we come back around to it at the end. Every blade of crabgrass standing in your yard right now is going to be dead by the first hard frost, whether you spend a dime out there or not. Step 2 is that $2 of nitrogen, and the calendar matters more than the amount. The feeding that counts is the fall one, when the grass is putting everything it has into roots. Don't go heavy with nitrogen in the middle of July, because July is crabgrass weather, and a big shot of nitrogen in that heat feeds the wrong plant. Spread it even with a spreader. Keep it to that 1 pound of actual nitrogen per 1,000 square feet in a single pass, and water it in so it isn't sitting on the blades burning them. Read the label on whatever bag you buy and check the current guidance before you put it down, and keep the children and the dog off it until it's watered in and dried. While you've got the hose out, water the way those men watered, which is deep and rare. A long soak once or twice a week beats a light sprinkle every evening, and it isn't close. Wisconsin Extension notes that once crabgrass is established, it will sit there happily in dry, compacted ground, which is exactly the ground a shallow daily sprinkle creates. A deep soak pulls the roots down after the water, and a light daily sprinkle never gives them a reason to go looking, so they stay parked up at the surface, right where the crabgrass lives. Step 3 is the seed, and this is the one people skip. Nitrogen thickens the grass you already have. It can't fill a bare spot where there's no grass left to thicken. So take a rake and scratch up the thin ground until you can see dirt and drop seed right onto it. Cornell puts the window for a new seeding at August 15th to September 15th, when the soil is still warm from summer, weed pressure is way down from spring, and the rain comes back. If you're watching this the week it went up, you're sitting inside that window right now. Bluegrass wants 2 to 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet on an overseed. Tall fescue wants 3 to 4, and you keep it damp until it comes up. And I have to say this plainly because it isn't the same everywhere. All of that is cool season country talk. The bluegrass and fescue and rye belt. Down in Bermuda and Zoysia country, the calendar flips and the mowing heights come down. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Tell me in the comments what your lawn is fighting right now and what state you're in. I read every single one. Now, step 3 is also where the trap is, and this is the part a good neighbor tells you before you spend another dime. Walk into the store in April with crabgrass on your mind, and you'll walk out with a bag of preventer or a weed and feed with a preventer mixed into it. Here's what that bag actually does. Iowa State says it plain. The pre-emergence herbicides, the benefin and the pendimethalin and the prodiamine and the rest of them, stop crabgrass seed from becoming a plant, and they stop turfgrass seed from becoming a plant right along with it. Rutgers says the same thing in its homeowner sheet. Don't put it down if you plan on seeding in the weeks after, because it will kill your grass seed. Sit with that one a second. The bag you bought to fix your thin lawn is the exact thing standing between you and the seed that would have fixed it. You spend the money, you get one clean spring, the ground underneath is every bit as thin as it was. And come next April, you're back at that same shelf. Nobody's hiding this, by the way. It's printed right there on the label. It's just that there's no repeat sale in a lawn that got thick and stayed that way. And if that sounds like a raw deal, stay with me, because there's honest daylight in it. Iowa State names 2 exceptions, Cideron and Mesotrione, that hold back crabgrass without killing your new grass seed. And if you already put a preventer down last spring, you haven't lost your year. It'll have broken down by late summer, so that August into September window is still yours. What you can't do is run the preventer and the seed together in April and expect both to work. And that is exactly what the shelf is quietly set up to make you do. So put those pieces together and you land on what the old groundskeepers were actually doing out there, which was never really about killing anything. Crabgrass is a summer annual. It comes up from seed in the spring, it runs all summer, and it dies at the first hard frost every single year on its own, whether you spent $1 or $400. That plant out in your yard right now is already finished. It just hasn't been found out yet. All it leaves behind is seed sitting up in the top inch of soil, waiting for next spring, which means you were never in a fight with a plant. You were in a race with a seed. And there are only 2 ways to win that race. You get there first with a chemical that stops it, and then you buy that chemical again every spring for as long as you own the house. Or you get there first with shade and a thick stand of grass, and that one you only have to build one time. So here's the year, the way those men ran it. Late August into September, you scratch, you seed, you keep it damp. 6 weeks later, once that new grass has been mowed a few times, you put down the fall feeding, that 1 pound of nitrogen, and the grass takes it straight down into the roots for winter. Come spring, you don't touch the preventer, you don't scalp it trying to tidy it up, you just start mowing high the very first cutting and hold it there all season. That's the program. 3 trips across the yard in the fall and a mower deck you never drop back down. Give it 2 seasons. That first year, the crabgrass still comes back along the hot edges, thinner than before, but it comes back because that seed bank is still down there in the soil. So you do the same 3 things again the second fall. By that second summer, the canopy has closed over, the soil surface sits dark at noon even in July, the clover has quit on you because the grass finally has more nitrogen than the clover can manufacture. And you're standing out on the thickest yard on the street holding a bag that cost less than one visit from a truck. The lawn was here a long time before the lawn store was, and that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old fellas knew and never wrote down anywhere, which is the whole reason the old ways, 50 forgotten lawn secrets. From America's Greatest Groundskeepers exists with nothing in it you have to go out and buy. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera and point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy the video right now on screen even more. I can assure you on that. Click it right now, my friend.